No way. Big spin to lip slide. Backside, actually. Man, that was awesome.
And what he needed was that kind of stuff throughout the run. Nowadays, you literally have to pack so much into a run, you can't waste any walls. Looking back at the run, he definitely had his moments. Watch the board, little backside, heel flip Indy, almost misses the reaching for the board. A little bit easier grab on this frontside version. Gets it, brings it down, and rides out.
However, on the next trick, keep your eyes on his feet. It's the big spin to lip slide. Look at how the board moves around. He shoves it with his feet, gets right back on.
Omar turned it on at the end of the run, improving his score from his first, but still sits in 6th place. Andy Mack currently in 3rd place. His first run score an 86.3. Very methodical skater. Looking back at his run, he's known for doing tons of 540s in a row. Right here is textbook stock Andy McDonald, switching it up with the mute 540. Had so much in this run, and look at the little saran wrap. Little old school influence from Andy Mack, coming out of Boston, been skating since back in the day, and nice tech with a frontside blunt. But he is going to have to really turn it on when you look at what he's up against right now with Rune Glifberg. He's kind of set the tone.
The level definitely is being pushed in vert skating, and Andy's going to need to do that with himself. He's a very consistent rider, but he's going to have to shake things up, and he's off to a good start.
Nice little combination from those two airs coming out of the slob air into this 540 assault.
And there's the mute 540 we saw from the first run, and the saran wrap, the same line he did in the first run.
Yeah, what Andy likes to do is really get the runs dialed in, and he'll stick to that line for the most part. Andy McDonald has been a figurehead in this sport for a very long time. Part of the DARE program. You probably see him on, I think, any children's program out there, kind of promoting the sport of skateboarding.
Also does a great thing, hangs out at Woodward Camp, works with a lot of kids. He was even a camper there, and now look at him right now. It's like a success story. Body burial 540, awesome.
Oh, and that is not a common sight, but we've been seeing a little bit out of Andy in the recent months. A fall. It's very rare from Andy McDonald.
Computer glitch, I think.
Yeah, something went wrong there. Looking back at his run, some definite moments. Look at just the huge carving frontside air right in. Little Andy Mack style on the Indy grab.
And there's the kick flip to Indy right there, combining the Indy grab and a little kick flip, 2 tricks in 1 actually, into a nice 540.
Well, it's that 2 tricks in 1, the combination factor that's so important in vert skating. Andy Mack puts it into every run, even with a little old school influence here with the saran wrap. The problem is, skating is so subjective nowadays. Right there, a little nollie heel flip to fakie. Andy Mack, his last chance with his 3rd run here today, and 88.7. The best he'll be able to do is 2nd place. Stick around. When we come back, we will see the skating of Max DeFore along with vert best trick. On along with Andy McDonald. However, both were unable to surpass Rune Glifberg's 93.7. Here are the standings right now with Max DeFore and the number 2 qualifier, Pierre-Luc Gagnon, left to go.
Max about to make his 3rd run, but we're going to take a look back and see his best run, which was his first, and that's what put him in 5th place.
Yeah, Max definitely has a library of tricks. You see him looking back on that run. Backside 540 right to that kick flip Indy to fakie. What Max has to do, though, is stick everything together, string it along, so to speak.
Also riding for his very own skateboard company, Premium Wood. I like that about these skaters. They really take the reins and they're in control of their own industry. And he's in control of that skateboard right now. Nice 540.
Right,
linking it together. Nice kickflip to Indy fakie.
Same line we saw in his previous run.
Yeah,
a lot of authority on that disaster. Max DeFore, one of the many skaters coming out of Canada. You're seeing kind of a resurgence of sorts from the Great White North.
Skates much with Pierre-Luc Gagnon, who's we're going to see him in a little bit. These guys share a little bit of their styles.
Yeah, right there, a little south flip to fakie right at the end.
Oh!
Unable to hold it on. Max DeFore packed a lot in that run. Very quiet style. Looking back here, nice stale 360, and you've heard style over and over today. Max DeFore has that very quiet, smooth style, linking the tricks back to back.
And it shows that he also built a really good skateboard because it didn't bust in half. There's the sow flip brings the back end of the board around.
Holds on till the end, max to 4, his score in 86.7. The best he'll be able to do is 3rd place. The vert best trick is by far one of the most watched events by spectators and competitors alike. The reason, it allows them to take chances and focus on the progression of skating.
Paintball assassin Mike Frazier stepped it up with a fakie to frontside grind, shove it out. There it is, folks.
Recently married Andy McDonald had a huge kickflip to body jar up on that extension. And as we pointed out, it's competitions like this that allow guys like Andy Mack to take chances where they normally don't. Right there, case in point. Australian rider Renton Miller earned 2nd with his first trick, a kickflip pivot up on the extension, but continued on throughout the competition with consistent tricks, most notable his nollie flip 5-0 grind. Renton skated solid throughout the best trick.
Reptile enthusiast Matt Dubb chose to stay with one trick throughout the comp, the 720 barrier.
It's a lot of hit and miss, it's a lot of timing. A lot of times you miss. I mean, it just takes like the perfect one, perfect rotation, and the perfect just feeling to go for it at that time. Normally the last minutes it makes you do it when you get down in time.
It's a lot to absorb when you look at it. There's so much going on. Watch Matt's board. It's spinning. Matt is spinning 2 full rotations along with the burial aspect of the board. 720 burial, Matt Dubb. Congratulations goes to all the vert best trick competitors along with its winner, Matt Dubb. Now back to our vert final. 2nd seed, Pierre-Luc Gagnon, about to make his 3rd run. Pierre-Luc Gagnon has a definite appreciation for the versatility factor.
You know, me, I try to do all kinds of tricks, you know, like flip tricks, lip tricks, big air, you know. I think that shows that you can do you can touch every aspect of vert skating, you know, I think if someone just hits the lip or just go big, it shows that he can't do certain types of tricks.
Pierre right now currently in 5th because of this. His first run got an 85.7, mixed it up with a lot of his consistent stock tricks. The 540 combination mute going into the Indy 540 has a lot of room to make up for it, this being now his 3rd and final run.
He turned pro back in '95 actually at advanced competition, and since then has been, as you mentioned, a consistent rider.
Consistent and very focused on style. Pierre-Luc influenced by guys such as Danny Way and fellow Canadian Colin McKay. Off to a very tight run so far, using every single wall.
Gotta tell you, he's blowing up. Now that you kickflip Indy, I mean, he's going very high on these tricks, and that is important.
You have to blend the technical aspect and the power aspect, and so far Pierre-Luc is definitely improving upon his 1st and 2nd run. Pierre-Luc doing a good job at weaving these tricks all the way through the run. Only a couple times where he literally had to use a few setups right there, and that is going to be time for Pierre-Luc Gagnon. Even Rune Glifberg approves. So much in that run, as we said, a definite improvement upon his first run. This is his chance to make up for any deficit. Looking back on the run, he started off very big. Pierre-Luc Gagnon style on the 540, nice tuck, landing up high on the vert. And this is the combo, going right into that Indy 540. You have to link stuff, I can't stress it enough.
Continuing on that little train of linking things, there's a beautiful alley-oop to kickflip mute grab, and here is the heel flip to Indy grab. Beautifully done.
Yes, Pierre-Luc, beautiful enough for 3rd place. That is going to be it for the vert final. Right now, Chris Jamieson is with our winner, Rune Glifberg.
Thanks, Pat. I mean, hey, Rune, let's face it, you got 2nd at Slam City, you just won here, you're collecting some serious points.
Yeah, I mean, I got the 2nd, yeah, and the 1st here, so I guess I must be in the lead by now. I was stoked. I mean, my first run was semi-alright. I missed my 5, but managed to get it in there again, like we were talking about earlier. And then the 2nd one, I was I wasn't really like thinking about falling, you know. I was just, I knew that I already had a good run, and I was seated in first at that time, so I knew that I could just slowly improve my run a little bit, you know, and not too much, you know, just make it a little bit better and get up there in the 90s.
Right on. Thanks, Rune. You were ripping.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys, Pat.
Thanks, Chris. When we return, the much anticipated street competition. Time now for a street competition. We join the final underway. Our current leader is Omar Hassan. Backing his reputation of being one of the more versatile skaters in the sport, Omar Hassan, his first run score of an 81. Perhaps not the most technical run, but linked everything solid and was able to stay on his board throughout the first run. Here's how things look with still a few other skaters yet to take their first run. Right now, we go up with Pat Chanita.
Now in street, more so than any other of the skating disciplines, you're going to hear us talk about the style, and you're going to see those styles and how different they can be rider to rider. Pat has his own distinct way of skating. It's very technical. Watch what he does. He sticks with the ledges and the banks.
Starts off a little frontside tail slide on a ledge, and much like on vert, it's important that you're linking stuff throughout and utilizing as much as the street course. You pointed out in Slam City Jam, these are merely taking elements of street.
Right, and you know what? A lot of the riders have been talking about a little backside tail slide. A lot of the riders have been talking about how difficult this course is to negotiate, so it's going to take a really talented rider to do well here.
Little kick flip over the hip there. So far, solid first run, just lost it right there on the switch ollie over the lunch table there. Still got a smile on his face, though, and still a little bit of time.
Kick flip over the hip. You know, most of these guys spend hours a day just skating in the streets out there in your downtown, you know, getting into a little trouble, but that's basically what it represents, this type of skating. Many of the guys don't really put a lot of emphasis on the competition.
Oh, right there! A little 360 flip over the lunch table. That's why Pat Chanita is one of the more respected skaters in street, pulling out technical moves like that. Pat did a lot of tricks in that run. Let's look at a different angle, 360 flip. Watch what is going on with the board as we slow it down for you.
The board is actually flipping and doing a 360 at the same time.
Pat Chanita, his first run score puts him in first place, an 84. Right now, the legendary, the infamous Rob Dyrdek. This guy is very outspoken in the sport of skateboarding.
He's also very respected in street style. Nice kickflip over the picnic table. And he's so respected because, I mean, he's been doing videos for so long, hasn't even really competed. Just started in the last couple of years doing these competitions.
Oh, nice backside nose grind on the little low bench there. Yeah, it says a lot about Rob's abilities as a skater.
Whoa! Man, loses it on the backside lip slide.
To get the notoriety he did, and without competing, he really kind of, as you know, we were talking earlier, spearheaded the movement of gaining respect for those skaters that don't necessarily compete. Whoa, right there! Almost!
Hold on! Oh, man, the frontside lip slide wasn't working for him. He kind of lost it a little bit. Now, it's very important for the skaters. You'll see him setting up for a trick, that's fine, but once you do the trick, you have to roll away, and here he gets into some more trouble. Manages to roll away, but the judges do take off for those falls. He's having a rough time out here on this course right now.
Still got a little time to play with here. So far, utilizing a good portion of the course. Yes! A little backside 180 nose grind. And that is going to finish it out for Rob Dyrdek. Solid run, couple of bobbles, but some crowning moments right here. A little kick flip over the lunch table.
And here, keep an eye on the backside 180 nose grind. Pulls it off nicely.
Rob Dyrdek's second run, an 81.3. He now sits in second place. Earlier today, the ladies' street competition brought out some of the best street competitors. Jessie Van Rokout of San Francisco skated her way into a third place with creative lines and her ability to cover as much course as time would allow. Representing the East Coast of Indian Harbor, Florida, Stephanie Thomas chose more of a technical approach, and it paid off with a second place finish. Hailing from Riverside, California, Vanessa Torres skated solid throughout her runs. Her blend of line and technical skills proved her versatility and earned her top honor for the women's street final, making it back-to-back wins on the Vans Triple Crown Series. Congrats goes to all of our women's street competitors. When we return, more men's street finals, including Cleveland's own Christian Spitak. And Chris Jamieson here in Cleveland, Ohio for the second stop of the Vans Triple Crown Series, the Mountain Dew National Championships of Skateboarding. Our current leader is Pat Chinita of Garden Grove, California, finishing up his run with a huge 360 flip over the lunch table. Right now, these are our current standings as we go to the floor for our next competitor, Christian Spitak. Cleveland native and Vans team rider for Christian, this is where it all started.
Christmas 1988 was when I got my first brand new board, which was this board, my Steve Caballero Powell Peralta. And since then, I've saved every single board I've ever ridden for this date, which sounds completely insane, but I am completely insane. So it all makes sense. I haven't been involved in professional skateboarding from the beginning. I've spent most of my years skating here in Cleveland, just being a kid, looking at the magazines, looking at all these other guys, watching the videos, being on the outside. So now I kind of feel like I snuck into this somehow, you know? I'm in there like, wow, you know? I can't believe I snuck in here, you know? I'm a part of it, and I somehow fooled everyone, you know? And, you know, I've just spent so many years being the kid, you know, on the outside looking in, that it just hasn't changed much. I don't take anything for granted. It's so bizarre. Now I'm a professional skateboarder, in my favorite skateboard company of all time, and my teammates are my idols, and I'm traveling the world with these guys. Now these guys are my friends. Now I'm going like to Japan, Australia, Europe, you know, all over the place, just because I ride a skateboard. And yeah, it's really, really mind-blowing to me. Especially being here in my parents' backyard. It's like, I don't know, it really hits home to like where I've come from and where I'm at now.
A skater definitely appreciative of what skating has given back to him. Right now, he goes for his first run.
Ollie up the ledge, 180 off. Yeah, a little smoothie out, you know.
Starts it off nicely.
Now, he's also a skater that spends a lot of time on the streets, doesn't really use transitions, so it's going to be interesting to see what he makes of this course. Yeah! Ollie to tail.
Up on that pole that kind of gaps two quarters, little front side
slide.
All the way down the ledge. Important, as you watch these guys go through the course, you want to complete the trick, go to the final, basically the end of the ledge.
And he's hanging on. It looks like he's going to go down, but he's staying on the board. Something else that you have to do these days. There's very little room for error.
It's literally, it has to be a flawless run from start to finish. You have to put so much into the run nowadays. Look at that there, right on the very little front side tail slide. And as he did on the ledge on all his other tricks, completing it all the way off.
He's looking for some room. He's setting up for something big here. Now he's got his own Wyatt style, very, very subtle.
Not a lot of area to get off that.
Yeah, all the way to flat, just like he likes it. No tranny, no landing ramps. Let's just drop all the way to the cement.
Definitely seeing the pure street influence there.
Well, he was feeding off that crowd in his hometown, and here's an ollie to tail on the channel coping. Amazing.
And watch where he starts, the front side, all the way to the end. Very important here on the barrier. Front side tail slide all the way off. And here it is, all the way to the flat.
Knees are gonna feel that when he's gonna be using Ben Gay in a few years, but you know what? Good job.
Christian Spitak now sits in first place, his score an 84.3. Now you've heard a lot of talk about differentiating styles. Chad Barty has his own. For speed, one needs space.
I mean, if I wanted to, I could probably start doing all the more technical tricks and stuff, but to me, it feels so much better to myself just to be able to go on a skate course and just go as fast as I can and do the best tricks I can going that speed, you know, so it just feels a lot nicer to me than sort of going up a bank on a trick, coming back down, hit another bank. I'd rather just be flowing through everywhere, like, it just feels nicer.
And you will see that flow with Chad Barty, Australian skater, takes a frenetic pace throughout his runs.
You know, he grew up skating many of the concrete skate parks they have out there in Australia, and that helps you getting your line down. And you see here, he hasn't stopped yet. He's one big line all the way through the course. Nice Smith.
It's that backside tail slide on the top side of the ledge, and you notice he is literally sprinting through the course.
I know, this
Takes
guy
so much energy into it.
obviously didn't have Riddlin when he was little. Yeah, blunt slide on the ledge.
Yeah, very creative line there. And he has been nonstop from start, and we'll see how to finish. Little frontside feeble across the rail, and there he is, kicking up, literally sprinting, trying to turn around.
Yeah, ollie to lip slide. Whoa, getting a little sketchy. Almost hitting the wedge. Looked like he didn't know which way he wanted to go, and mere seconds left.
That is right at the end of the run. I doubt is going to hurt him. That is going to be time for Chad Barty. What just a classic
Did you
mix.
see him? He's like, what, that's it? I mean, the guy wanted to keep going, whatever.
I mean, classic mix, such power moves, a standard Smith grind, but he brings such speed, transferring all the way over, and look at the creativity on this front side blunt slide all the way down the ledge. Watch where he comes off, all the way to the end. Such a high risk factor.
On this ollie to frontside lip slide is great in itself, but here, look, he gets a little sketchy, doesn't know what he's gonna do. He didn't know if he was gonna go up on the wedge or on the tranny, chose the tranny, saved himself.
Good choice, because Chad Barty, Australian skater, sits in first place and 87.7. Here's how things look so far. When we return, more men's street final skating. Witness the likes of veteran Steve Caballero, Christian Spitak, Dan Peugeot, Payne Gale, and Frank Carrata. A definite highlight was Patrick Melcher's drop off a 10-foot platform. Omar Hassan, Vans team rider, pulled a big nose slide on the top section of the rail. But taking the big prize home was Kevin Taylor and his attempt after attempt of a kickflip backside lip slide, where he finally stuck it.
Eventually I knew I would make it, but I don't know, it just came, you know. Once you do it so many times, it just comes. But that's one thing I had to do was for myself.
We saw some great performances in the first run of the street final. Pat Chinita's first run and the amazing 360 flip, which propelled him to the lead. He was then taken over by hometown favorite Christian Spitak, whose blend of more street-influenced riding gave him the lead. Until Australian rider Chad Barty took his first run, a frenetic pace and classic style landed him in first place. So this is how things look after the first runs. Right now, Chad Barty sits in first. Right now, Frank Carrata, his last chance to see if he can break into the top three.
Frank spends a lot of time out there designing public skate parks in his home state of California. Actually, he does it all over the country, and it's a pretty good thing.
Sounds like a nice job.
What a benevolent man. Yeah, nice nose grind on the bench there.
It's that frontside 180, little nose down the ledge. And you notice a little different style. As we're comparing styles, compared to, say, like a Chad Barty, not as much speed, kind of focuses on just kind of...
He's really going trick to trick, and that's what he focuses on. He really likes the trick aspect of skateboarding. Yeah, 360 flip.
Nice 5-0 down the ledge. Good completion all the way off the ledge. Kind of stock 50-50, but a little more quiet. You notice he's basically kind of honing in and trying to focus on what's going on that more of a technical aspect.
Yeah, switch 360 flip,
Yeah.
very technical thing. Whenever a skateboarder goes switch, it definitely bumps up the score.
Absolutely, had a little bobble error, but that is what the judges are looking for, the progression aspect. When you see things like a switch 360 flip, I mean, that is what they reward. It's not about doing huge airs over launch boxes. True street skating is represented by skating just like that.
But when you take it into the competition field, it's the most adaptive skater, and and that's the guy who really benefits the most when you bring it into this arena.
Absolutely. Looking back at Frank's run here, little kick flip to fakie. He mixed it up, and you notice bringing it back, getting ready, preparing for what you pointed out.
The switch 360 flip. He's doing it his opposite or unnatural direction.
Frank Harada, a score of 83.3. When we return, we'll see if Chad Barty can hold on.
Since 66.
Welcome back, everyone, to Cleveland, Ohio. Stop 2 of the Vans Triple Crown, the Mountain Dew National Championships of Skateboarding. Our top 3 seeds coming into the street final: Kyle Berard from Virginia Beach, Dane Brummett from San Diego, and Jacksonville, Florida's Kane Gale were unable to break into the top 5 after 2 runs. Chad Barty's second run was a disaster, but thanks to his first run score of an 87.7, he still finishes this event as our street champion.
I just did my best, and you never know in contests, you know, even when you think you've done the best run, it's always up to the judges. So whatever the judges think, it's just, I always just do my run and just hope for the best. That's it. The way I skate, I do the biggest stuff I can, you know, so I need a lot of speed, and that's probably what the judges like too. You know, the bigger the stuff is, the harder it is, but it still takes up a lot more time of the run. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. You got to make the whole thing too.
Congratulations goes out to all of our street competitors, along with Chad Barty, Christian Spitak, and Pat Chanita in the top 3. These are our Triple Crown standings after 2 stops. The second stop of the Vans Triple Crown of Skateboarding will be one to remember. In the earlier rounds, Adel Diani of Norway pushed the limits and paid the price. Yet after being knocked out unconscious, he would return to complete the trick that caused him the pain. Neil Hendricks, despite a high fever and a trip to the hospital, would go on to compete with his signature high airs. While vert champion Rune Glifberg remained virtually untouchable from the start. The street presented its own highs and lows. Chet Childress, on his way to a high-scoring final run, crashed hard and suffered a mind-numbing blow. Seemingly unfazed, he would go on to complete his second run. As is the case at every Vans event, the limits of the sport had been pushed, as Renton Miller and Matt Dove displayed progressional technical vert tricks one after the other. On the street, the seemingly impossible was tried over and over again at the cost of injury and pain to finally prove the possibilities. We hope you join us next time as more skating history happens at stop number 3 of the Vans Triple Crown of Skateboarding when we meet in Oceanside, California for the Xbox World Championships of Skateboarding. For Chris Jamieson and Kenan Harkin, I'm Pat Parnell. We'll see you there.